Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
All right, guys, here we go. It is now a Tuesday, February the 9th. Welcome in another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri. Great card in college hoops tonight. We are going to break down 4 games for you, and they are some good ones, too. We're going to look at West Virginia taking on Texas Tech. Big SEC battle. Arkansas taking on Kentucky. Going to go to the ACC. Took a look at a little Notre Dame at Duke, which must mean, of course, Rob Vino's got to be on the show somewhere here today. And then we're going to go to the A-10. We're going to talk VCU taking on Dayton. Let's welcome in the fellas if we can. Let's see exactly who we got. Oh, look at that. It's Rob Vino. What a shock. We're talking Duke today. To the man to my left or to the right, I'm not sure which way I'm going. I do believe that is going to be Tony Mejia. The man below him is Mr. Duke himself. That is Rob Vino. And then the gentleman below me, of course, the one and only Mr. Ralph Michaels. As far as their Twitter handles go, guys, let's take a look at them here so you know exactly who you are following and how you can go ahead and get in touch with them. At Mejia Dinero, at Rob Vino Sports, and, of course, Ralph is at Cal Sports LV. So, gentlemen, welcome in. Fun card here tonight. I'm looking forward to this. Some very interesting matchups. Love this time of year. And Tony Mejia, always a pleasure seeing you, my friend. It's been a little while. How you been? What do you got going on here? Customer Appreciation Week at Wager Talk and all.
Well, Joe, yesterday was a lick my wounds type of day. I only had one college basketball play up, and it got canceled because North Carolina was partying after that win over Duke. And Miami wanted to have nothing to do with sharing a court with them, apparently. So it was my daughter's 9th birthday, hung out with her. It was fun. And now it's basketball tunnel vision. So we're looking good at that. I had a great weekend up until Super Bowl Sunday. So Friday and Saturday were fantastic. Getting on the right side of all these college basketball and NBA stuff, have some good streaks going. They're documented somewhere on Wager Talk. So go find them and go find my picks. I've got an early start with that South Alabama Georgia State game, and I'll have a number of picks tonight in the college basketball and NBA worlds.
Yes, I feel you. Apparently, they haven't figured out in North Carolina how not to take video of you partying, beating Duke, because I was on the North Carolina over yesterday at 75.5 points there, but wasn't to be. North Carolina, Miami was absolutely canceled, but we got a little Duke game going on today, which means Rob Vino in the house. Rob, how you been, my man? I know, obviously, hoops in general been treating you very well, coming off another win in the NBA last night. What do you got going on at Wager Talk right now during Customer Appreciation Week?
Yeah, we're going to be stocked with both tonight, Joe, NBA and college basketball. They'll be up after the show concludes here. College basketball has been good to me the last week, 62.5%. Pick up over 13% ROI. So it's been good on a pretty decent run here. And as you mentioned, Tuesday. So we'll talk about Duke one more time. Some strange start times here, obviously, because of the pandemic. But we'll see how these teams react.
It's going to be a fun card, that's for sure. And Ralph Michaels, my man. Let's see. We haven't seen you since yesterday, for that matter. But how did you? What do you got there tonight for Customer Appreciation Week? I know you had a 5-pack of games up yesterday, a 4-pack of games, but Customer Appreciation Week continues to roll on here at WagerTalk.com.
I made it a 5-pack. Joe went 3-2. So I'll tell you what, college basketball 4 stars just continue to roll as best bets. I'm selective at that next level of plays. Now 24-11, 69%. I have 2 today. One is in an afternoon package. One is in an evening package. You can get them separately, or go ahead and buy a 3 or a 7-day package. So, like I said, when I'm handicapping, people ask all the time, how do you know if it's a 3 or a 4? Well, after doing it for 50 years, there's just another level where it gets all the check marks, and 2 of those plays up today.
All right, guys, and Customer Appreciation Week means $9 packages available all week long, all handicappers at WagerTalk.com. It also happens to be $2 Tuesday today, which means Andrew McGinnis has got a play up there, a best bet for $2. But the way to go, Customer Appreciation Week, guys, doesn't get any better than that. Just our way of saying thank you. $9 packages all week from our guys here at WagerTalk.com. All right, a quick review of the best bets from yesterday. Another good day on the show, except for that cancellation, of course. 3-in-1 day there yesterday in our best bets. Kansas ended up taking it to Oklahoma State. Brian Leonard pulling a page out of Ralph's book, going Mississippi Valley State with the outright win as a 19-point dog. Oh, my God. And look at that. Zags yesterday, as the time of the show, was 10.5. I think it closed at 11, but that's exactly the number they beat BYU at. But that is a win. 31-16-1 since January 6th here with those best bets on the show. So we look to keep that rolling here today. Some of those top performers from yesterday, too. We'll take a look at that over the last 24 hours. And, Ralph, it's hard to believe. I know it. Listen, Leonard stole your thunder, man. He went Mississippi Valley State. Nobody bets Mississippi Valley State except Ralph Michaels. Oh, yeah, they ended up winning that game, and what a performance, too.
Yeah, he only could have made it perfectly, and I'm sure he's watching right now, so, he wanted to see what smoke we would blow up his butt for pulling the outright win. He forgot to steal a line from VR and say, sprinkle some on the money line. Then we really could have saluted you, Brian, but nice pick. And again, I'll tell you what, I can say this. I did not know Karam Cunningham, so maybe Tony did, but 34 points in 37 minutes. I will tell you this, guys. I saw something I never saw yesterday. I had Jackson State against Southern, and Jackson State has 2 star players. The game was on ESPNU. They were a 3.5-point dog. With 6 minutes left, the 2-star players get in an argument. The top player throws his jersey off and walks off the court. So Jackson State still won the game. I haven't read what happened yet because I just finished up today, but it was the most bizarre setting. So try to read out and see what happened with that. But I've never seen a player in the middle of a game, your star player, take off his jersey and just walk off the court like he did last night.
Love it. All right, let's take a look at some of these covers from yesterday, too. Obviously, Mississippi Valley State's got to be there. Coppin State as well, taking down Norfolk. And Colorado, Oregon State. Now, this was a game, Tony, I don't know if you were on this game, but we talked about it a little bit here on the show yesterday. We thought it might be a little bit more competitive than that, but it wasn't to be. Just a complete beatdown by Colorado yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the Buffs are a good team. I was not. I was only on that game that got canceled. So, but I was very surprised. Mo Williams getting out coached at Alabama State.
Yeah.
He got some wins in there. Mississippi Valley State beating them. That surprises me.
Yep, it was, and of course, some of the total covers that we had yesterday, both overs and unders. Quinnipiac going over against Fairfield, Long Island, St. Francis yesterday. How about this one, right? Was at Furman, NC Greensboro, way under the total. Thought there would be way more points in that game as well.
Well, I had Greensboro, so I can tell you I needed a hell of a lot more points with that. them scoring only 49.
Bastards. All right, let's take a look here, guys. Let's open it up. First game of the day. Again, 4 games we'll break down for you today. We're going to start in the Big 12. What a matchup this is going to be. Round 2 here of West Virginia taking on Texas Tech. Now, this game opened up Tech as a 5-point favorite. Total at 140.5. And, of course, you got West Virginia coming off that big win against Kansas at home over the weekend. These two teams faced, I believe, January 25th. That was in West Virginia. Now, this game is going to be in Texas against Texas Tech at home. So let me start with you, Tony Mejia, my friend. Game number 2, it was a close one, the first one that West Virginia won by a point. How do you anticipate it's going to go down in round 2?
Yeah, this was a tight one. Deuce McBride hit a big shot with like 6 seconds left, made it 88-87, and then everybody had to clench their teeth and watch Mac McClung's potential game winner just barely miss. So the Mountaineers held on there. They come off that big win over Kansas. So they're playing well. But Huggy Bear really likes where his team is. But that could be a concern considering that Texas Tech is going to clamp down defensively at home. The 88 points they gave up in Morgantown are the most they've given up by far this season. They even had an overtime game that didn't come up close to the 88 that they surrendered. So I think you'll see a very confident bunch that wants to clamp down defensively. McBride, however, for West Virginia is the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. He had 31 against the Jayhawks, so he's rolling well. I think it's going to boil down to him. If he draws some double teams, gets hot early, I think he'll be able to get other guys going. And if he struggles, then I think Texas Tech is going to impose their will defensively.
Rob, West Virginia 4-2 on the road this year. They do play better. We've seen it at home, but this is a tough matchup here, any which way you cut it here tonight against Texas Tech. But the number, do you trust Texas Tech to be able to get the job done?
Well, let me go to the total here, Joe, because I'll speak on that end. I think we've seen a little bit of a rise, 140 up to 141.5 in this game. If you look at the West Virginia side, they've played one game since January the 2nd. 8 games, only one hasn't exceeded 141 points. That game was a 69-47 win over Kansas State. It's explainable why you would go under the total against Kansas State, a team that really had trouble back when they played them offensively with missing guys. In those 8 games, 7 are against Big 12 competitions. This is all inside conference where they're doing this damage, where they're scoring. Obviously, they've changed tempo and style a little bit here. I mean, Bob Huggins, as has been mentioned 1,000 times, has not pressed Virginia this season, but they found offense, and the tempo numbers have been crazy for them. They're 70-plus in almost every game except for one since that January 2nd deal. Now, on the Texas Tech side, it was interesting when I went through the box score Saturday, not having watched the game, to see that Terrence Shannon Jr. was limited in minutes. However, head coach Chris Beard says it was just precautionary. He had a sore ankle. They rested him by design, only played him 11 minutes, and he'll be fine for this game. So you have all your assets here as far as scoring production is concerned in this game. The question becomes, the 175 points that they scored the first time around, can they really reduce it by more than 33 points this time to get you underneath 142? I'm not so sure they will. Even if they do, and I think they will, Texas Tech will probably devise a little bit better of a defensive game plan against McBride, like Tony said. But to knock it down by more than 33, to me, is in question here. Texas Tech is 7-2 over the total since January 2nd. The last 2 games haven't gone over this particular number of 142, but again, they're 141.5, but again, they're explainable. And Oklahoma, 57-52. We know Oklahoma, very deliberate, very defensive-oriented. And the other one, of course, again, Kansas State. To me, the total just seems a little bit low. I agree with the line move here. I see this game being played more in the mid-140s, somewhere, maybe 74, 71, something like that. So to me, I think I would play over in this case.
He's got a point, Ralph, that what can change in this game? Do you see change? I mean, they both shot very, very well there in the first game, but let's be realistic here. Are we gonna get in the 170s in this game?
Well, I'm not sure of that, and I'm indifferent on the total, but I wanted to give you a number just to back up what Rob said. Is if you look at KenPom for West Virginia for the year, they're listed at number 149 for tempo. I do numbers over the last 3 weeks. West Virginia is the 33rd fastest tempo team. So it shows you how he's made adjustments. After he lost Oscar at January 1st, he made a change. They went quicker. They're not quite pressing as much. And another statement to show you how much they're not pressing, when they hosted Texas Tech last week, or maybe it tells you how much they're not pressing and how good McClung is as a point guard, the Georgetown transfer. West Virginia caused 2 Texas Tech turnovers last time they hosted them. 2. West Virginia at home, only having 2 turnovers against anyone is incredible. Having single-digit turnovers against anyone is incredible. Why did West Virginia win that game? Well, it's because they shot 12 of 19, 63% from three-point land. But you look at Texas Tech, and they're just happy winning the game. The dog in Texas Tech games, 11-3. They're not a good favorite because they don't worry about margin. They're just happy winning the game. They're a good dog. They're a bad favorite. To me, the way West Virginia is playing and in that role, I think the points have some value here.
All right, and they just seem to be creeping up there, too. A lot of sixes out on the board right now in that Texas Tech West Virginia game here tonight. Let's move over to the ACC if we can. Let's talk about another redemption case of sorts here when Notre Dame will be taking on Duke. If this opened up at 6, I'm seeing 7.5s all over the place. The total has come down, opened at 149. I'm seeing 147s, even a couple of 146.5s in this one. And since it is Duke, you know I'm coming to you, Rob. It has not been good for the Duke Blue Devils. Losses there to North Carolina and Miami. We're talking about a 500 or less team here right now. Boy, Notre Dame, they threw up all over themselves with that loss against Georgia Tech over the weekend. I don't know. Does Notre Dame have enough to be able to take down the Duke Blue Devils in your mind?
Well, it's interesting, Joe, and I'll start with what I said, in our opening, that this start time is particularly strange on a Tuesday afternoon for teams like this to be going at it at 4:30 in the afternoon. The major thing to me where this game is concerned is that Jalen Johnson, one of the Duke stars, didn't play first time around, and they still won by 10. Now, that game was a long time ago, guys. It was in December, mid-December, so you don't really take all of that seriously, maybe just to take bits and pieces from it. But that's the bits and piece I take from it, is that Johnson will be available here. Now, the other question for Duke is, when you give it everything you've had, all 100% focus, all 100% effort against your arch enemy, North Carolina, do you come back next game and play that type of basketball? Do you have that same focus? Do you have that same energy? I'm not sure. Notre Dame, as you said, Joe, high-scoring affair with Georgia Tech, 82-80. Notre Dame has shot the ball extremely well as of late. I got numbers here. They've shot 51% or better in 4 of their last 5. Now, combine that with what I've harped on about Duke and their poor defensive play every time we have them on this show. For Duke, they've allowed 46% or better to their opponents in 9 of the last 11. It's, if you just take statistics and logic as your basis for a play here, you would think Notre Dame scores well here. With Duke the favorite, you would think they have to score well here, and this game would be over. But again, I'm just not sold on it yet. I'd rather lean toward Duke making some sort of showing here off of that loss, especially with Johnson playing. I'm not real high on this game either way, Joe, side or total, but I think the addition of Johnson probably worth a slight look at Duke.
Yeah, I think Matthew Hurt was the leading scorer the last time these two played here. So, Ralph, it's hard. I'm watching the market continue to put this number up there, 7.5 in a lot of places now. It's hard to trust Duke, isn't it, to lay 7.5 even against Notre Dame?
Rob, I am so disappointed. How can we not mention Duke allowing 47.7%, being the number 11 defensive team in the ACC? How did I not get that out of you today?
Good point.
But you did. Well, you got 46% allowed in 9 of the last 11. I didn't phrase it.
It was an end around. It was a bit of an end around. It was like Tyreek Hill around again. That's all.
I wanted to hear. Coach K keeps talking about the improved defense, but and it can't be any more true than you said. I'm going to say exactly what you said, Rob. They're the number 11 team in the ACC, and I'm going to add in they've gone 8-1 to the over their last 9 games. Now, when you look at Notre Dame, you talked about their good shooting, and you look at Notre Dame and you say, well, they're only 1-4 over/under, 1 over and 4 unders their last 5 games. But I'm going to point out, you just played Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, and Miami, 3 of the worst 4 offenses. So that's why the game stayed under. It didn't stay under because of pace. It didn't stay under because of incredible defense. It stayed under because you played the bottom rung of offensive teams. I do like the over here. I think it's simple. I'm not going to overanalyze it. And, reading the papers, both Coach K and Calipari at Kentucky, it's like they took the exact same verbiage. We're not looking towards to the championship. We're not looking towards any other game. We're looking only towards this game. We're sorry that our guys are having such a poor season. It's amazing that these two coaches, this game and the game we talk about next game, are exactly the same. And Rob, I'll say this. If we have one good thing coming out of the virus, it is having great afternoon college basketball midweek to watch. So I love turning on and watching a quality game at 1:30 Pacific time.
Tony, the bottom line is no amount of determination, and Duke's got a lot of it right now, is all of a sudden going to cure what happens with them defensively. Now, they do have the firepower, to Rob's point here, in this game to certainly score some points, and if they get hot from three, that being Notre Dame, which they're known to do, this could be an easy over, but the market, it's telling me to go down. I'm seeing it down to 147 here after an opening of 149. What gives? What do you think happens here?
Well, this might break Ralph's heart if he wants to see a quality game. I just don't see it. Look, Duke has been so mediocre. They should be under 500 right now. If Georgia Tech doesn't fumble away opportunities in the game that they had up until the final minute, we're talking about a sub 500 Duke team. As it is now, if they get upset in this game, they'll be 8-9, something like that. And this is a bad Notre Dame squad. Prentice Hub had 10 assists the other night, and they hung around, and they've been much better of late. But this is still going to be a team that will finish under 500 for the second time in 3 years. That hasn't happened at Notre Dame since the John McLeod era, before this millennium. So, this is not a good Notre Dame squad. We knew that going in. This is not a great Duke team because Johnson is wishy-washy in terms of games that he actually takes over. When he plays, they got a number one. Matthew Hurt can play his role as the number two, which is ideally what he is. And they have DJ Stewart, who's also a streaky shooter when gets it going. Him and Roach, the other freshman point guard. It's a team that looks somewhat worthy of wearing a Duke uniform. When they're not, it's an ordinary-looking basketball team, a team that may not hear its name called on Selection Sunday. Ideally, you would have Duke winning this by double digits because they should, but I couldn't trust it. My prediction for this game was 76-71, which basically has Notre Dame covering and the total being reached now that it came down a couple points.
It's tough to go, man. 7.5 points back in Duke is a tough one here this year. All right, guys, we're going to head over to the SEC in just a second, but I do want to remind you, if you just happen to be joining us, that it is Customer Appreciation Week at WagerTalk.com, which gives you the opportunity to head over to Ralph Michaels' page, head over to Rob Vino's page, head over to Tony Mejia's page, $9 packages all week as a way of saying thank you very much for all the support. Now, of course, that football is over. We've got plenty of other sports happening around the world, getting ready for Major League Baseball as well. So as a way to say thank you for all the support to this point, please head over to WagerTalk.com, visit Ralph, visit Rob, visit Tony, get to their pages, take advantage of those $9 packages now. All right, talking about seasons they wish they can forget. How about Kentucky here, guys, at home, taking on Arkansas. Now, this has flipped a little bit. It did open up Arkansas as a small favorite here. I am seeing pick them in some places, as well as Kentucky now getting a point. Ralph, I'm going to laying a point rather. And Ralph, I'm going to go to you here. This Arkansas team is frustrating. To bet on them has been frustrating, but nothing has been more frustrating than if you are a Kentucky backer and have gone through this year expecting that light bulb to go off or that switch to be hit, because it ain't happening here, Ralph. But these two teams here tonight, how do you see it going down?
Well, it's been a good year for the bullied to get back. We have Kansas, we have Kentucky, we have Duke. And when teams get the opportunity to finally win a game against this type of foe, I think it's a powerful motivator. The last time Arkansas beat Kentucky, February 7th, 2014. So you have a lot of pent-up frustration. The only thing keeping me off Arkansas today is Justin Williams has 15 starts this year. He's listed as questionable. And Silas has 15 starts this year. He's listed as questionable. With 2 starters questionable, I can't bet the game. If I tune it in and they're playing, I will bet Arkansas late. Or if I find out what the situation is and perhaps they're in, I will be on the Hogs. I do want to mention one thing. While Arkansas is on the road this year, I just tweeted out there are 7 college teams that are allowing fans with over 3,000 or more. Arkansas is number 1, allowing 4,400 fans, followed by Texas Tech, who we talked about at home earlier, 4,200. Tennessee's 4,200. Your Oak State Cowboys, Joe, 3,300. Louisville, 3,300. South Carolina, 32. And Missouri, 31. And in some situations, we've heard where those 3,000 or 4,000 fans can make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough, though, here, Tony. The Razorbacks, they are listed as probable here. Justin Smith, Desi Silas, and Jalen Williams. But it's hard at this point. I want to back Arkansas, but I just don't I don't know if we can do that until last minute as usual. Welcome to college basketball 2021.
Yeah, because these coaches don't really have to tell you who's available when. I think Marcus Moody is supposed to play, Justin Smith as well. Those guys are more important to me than anybody else, and both dealing with ankle injuries. But remember that they had a game this weekend canceled because Texas A&M had contact tracing, so they should have fresh legs. Desi Sills is a lefty, and so his shoulder issue is really of a concern because it's his left shoulder. He would not have played, according to Musselman, had they taken the court against A&M. He has a chance to play with now. I think Jalen Williams, from what they say, is also probably not going to play, probably further away than Sills. But if Sills plays, I think they have enough to beat Kentucky. Razorbacks have scored 68 or more points in all but 2 games this season. Kentucky struggles to keep pace with anybody scoring the ball. They just don't shoot it well. They just gave up 82 points to a Tennessee team that struggles offensively. So really, John Calipari has to be beside himself. He just has not been able to reach this current group. I think the wrong team is favored here. It's my best bet down the road, so I'll talk about it a little more. But it's hard to go against Arkansas here.
The total is interesting here, Rob, because we know Arkansas is better defensively at home, not so much on the road. We've seen them give up 90 points on the road. But do you have enough confidence in Kentucky offensively to be able to put it all together against this Arkansas team to possibly go with an over here?
Well, let me just start, Joe, by clearing up the personnel status for this game where Arkansas is concerned. It was reported about an hour ago. I think I have the exact tweet here, but I had it in my notes that Desi Sills, Justin Smith, and Jalen Williams will all play in this game tonight. That was per John Rothstein. If I can give you the exact tweet here, Desi Sills shoulder, Justin Smith undisclosed, and Jalen Williams undisclosed will all play tonight against Kentucky per Eric Musselman. So the coach has stated they'll all play. I think Sills only got 4 minutes on Saturday because of the shoulder. So put them all in the game and go ahead and handicap from there. Let me start with both of these teams come off an aberration game, right? Kentucky, as Tony just mentioned, they play Tennessee. That game goes 82-71, 153 points from 2 teams that can't make a basket in an open gym, and 2 teams that play extremely tight defense. So that was a little bit surprising. And then Arkansas, talk about aberrations, plays a 61-45 game against Mississippi State on Saturday, a game in which they shoot 11.8% from 3-point range. Now, in simple handicapping 101, you expect things to regress or to get back to the mean. So you would think Arkansas's got a good shooting game here tonight against this Kentucky team. But I've heard the word frustrating used a couple of times, and I'll say they've been erratic offensively. I mean, how can a team do things like shoot 53% against Tennessee and then do what they did Saturday against Mississippi State? It's been that way all season long for Arkansas. Either they're good or they're very bad, which makes it hard to kind of pick and choose when you're going to be on them, when you're going to be against them. I think you'd rather be on them here, though, because Kentucky, when I went through some numbers, they've given in. And I don't know Coach Cal is doing some, kind of like figuring things out on the fly or trying to figure things out on the fly. Kentucky's given into tempo their last 4 games. All 4 games played by Kentucky, none in overtime, have had 72 possessions or more. That's a lot for Kentucky, a defensive-minded team that does not give up high field goal percentages whatsoever. 2 of those versus LSU and Alabama, understandable. The other 2 against Missouri and Tennessee shows me that they're going to run if the other team wants to go. Kentucky's going to give in and go. So I think Arkansas will force pace. I think Kentucky will follow suit. I found it interesting that Isaiah Jackson only plays 12 minutes on Saturday, so I had to go dig and find out why. And again, Coach Calipari just doing, coaching on the fly here. His quote was he seemed a little behind in the first half, so I went with Keon instead, Keon being Keon Brooks. Listen, there's no rhyme or reason to what Kentucky's doing right now. I think they'll play faster tempo because Arkansas is going to play it. They don't shoot very well, but they do defend. 3 of their last 4 have gone under the current total of 142. Guys, I don't know what to make of it. I think the best thing to do here is play Arkansas because I think they'll have a bounce back situation here. And Kentucky, even though they allow teams under 40% a majority of the time, lately they've been giving up a lot of points. So I'm going to say Arkansas, and I'll reserve judgment on the total here. But I think Arkansas is the right way with all their guys going.
All right, Arkansas it is. That leaves us one more game here we're going to break down in the Atlantic 10 before we get to our best bets. And again, just one final reminder, guys, WagerTalk.com, Customer Appreciation Week right now, $9 packages available. Get over there right now, whether it's Rob Vino, Tony Mejia, Ralph Michaels, the whole group there. Each and every handicapper is a way of saying thank you. $9 packages all week long. Take advantage of it at WagerTalk.com. All right, look at this, a little A10 going here tonight, actually 5 p.m. Eastern time, as VCU finds himself as a favorite on the road, taking on Dayton. VCU brings in a 3-game winning streak. Dayton has won 3 of their last 4. Tony Mejia, I am coming to you. VCU playing really, really well, although it does seem like the market's starting to come back to the home dog here a little bit. I'm seeing a lot of 1s and 1.5s out. How do you approach this game here tonight? Is it a coin flip in your mind, or is the wrong team favored?
I don't think the wrong team is favored. I mean, anybody that watched VCU destroy Dayton in Richmond would tell you that they have some advantages here. They held Jalen Crutcher to 4 points in that first game, and they held the Flyers in general to 13 points in that first half. So, it's a team that can really get after you defensively. Obviously, they play havoc. Their style of play with the pressing pretty much nonstop. And at this point, I think that plays a little less on the road, but they were able to impose their will so effectively in that first game that I do believe that they should be favored in this game. I don't buy Dayton without, with so many losses that they suffered. Will be topping now with the Knicks. Not the same team that they were last season. And I think that's become crystal clear over the course of this season. They're a bubble team. They pretty much need this game to catapult them forward over the next few weeks, so they end up on the right side of Selection Sunday. But I think VCU is rightfully favored. Got to look at a couple of more things with their free throw shooting and whatnot. But I think if I'm going to make a move on this game, it'll be with VCU.
Ralph, I remember it wasn't too long ago where we were looking at VCU in the first half and always betting the unders because of their pressing and what they would do to teams coming in. And that's exactly what they did to Dayton, who only had 13 points in the first half last time they played. Do you think Dayton can make the adjustments here and make this much more of a game?
Well, Tony mentioned free throw shooting.
Ralph, I thought he said Rob. My bad.
That's all right. You want to both talk at the same time? We can just go. It's all right.
Hey,
sounds good. Both of you.
To steal a line for Rob, I'm going to rewind that, and I'm pretty freaking sure that he said Ralph. So
you're probably right. You're probably right.
Oh my word!
Tony talked about Dayton's best player, Crutcher, scoring 4 points, and let me just put that in perspective. He's averaging 17 points. Every other game this season, he has had double-digit points, and 8 times he's had 20 or more points. So what was the problem that game? It's very, very simple. I've mentioned this on the show a couple times. There is no team with less depth than Dayton. If you look at Dayton's games, you have 5 starters playing 30 minutes, and you have 2 other players playing under 10 minutes. That's it. That's what you get with Dayton. And when you get pressed like Jalen Crutcher does, it takes you away from your offense. That's the problem. So while I did not get to the window yet, because when I look at VCU, and Tony did mention home road dichotomy, they went into George Mason. They only won 66-61. They lost to St. Bonnie's, no problem. St. Bonnie's is a good team. And then they went into Rhode Island, 63-62. They have not gotten margin on the road. But I will say this. I'll be watching this game, early game, on CBS Sports, I believe. If Dayton gets in any foul trouble or Crutcher even stubs his big toe, I will absolutely be live betting VCU because Dayton has no one else to control that ball. They have one point guard. They use him all the time at point guard. If he gets any issues at all, VCU rolls him, and I live bet it multiple times.
All right. I mean, Rob, how you approach Rob, how are we approaching this game here, Rob Vino? How do you want to do it? Total side? You're looking at a slow-ass tempo here with Dayton and the Flyers here. Are they going to get to 133.5, 134?
Well, they didn't come close the first time, right? 113 points total in that game. And I'll be pretty firm here. I don't see it changing. I mean, sometimes style matchups are bad matchups, and this is a bad matchup. To Ralph's point, Crutcher goes 40 minutes on Saturday. They had 2 guys go 40, 1 go 37. They just are so dependent upon that starting 5. Not that VCU isn't, because VCU doesn't go deep into that bench either. But they spread the minutes out more than does Dayton. Nobody on VCU playing 40 minutes. Now, the only slight concern that's nowhere near enough to back me off VCU is that they did come up with I don't want to call it miraculous, but they're trailing by 4 with 47 seconds left to Rhode Island the other day, and they come up with a win on a 3-pointer with 5 seconds left by Sean Highland. So, they exerted themselves in that game. It was a big game in the A-10. But again, I just don't think it matters, Joe. I think that their press against this team will work again. They'll create havoc. Dayton would have to, in my estimation, they would have to play a flawless 40 minutes to win this game. And I just don't think they can. This is a team that has fallen to some of the dregs of the A-10 this year. So I don't see that changing here. Desperate situation or not, I just don't think the style matchup's any good for Dayton, so I'll take VCU.
All right, going VCU. There you go, guys. Now we got some best bets that we're going to get to, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at our friends at the Gold Sheet first. They've got their best bet of the day up, and that is going to be James Madison taking on Elon, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. 4.5s and 5s I'm seeing right now. Totals at 143.5. And Tony, might this be the handwriting of somebody you recognize?
It is the handwriting of somebody I recognize, but it's not me. But I do know who it is. So, not
come on, Tony. Jeez, I do want to mention this, though, Tony. I do want to jump in and mention this, guys. If you could show that format again.
Yes.
If you notice the new format, you guys will notice that the Gold Sheet has not only the last 5 games for each team, but it now has the last 5 games averages, the point stiff, the average power ratings, the record. So it gives you an absolutely perfect glance at current form. And I look at 5 to 7 games when I put current form on. So that's something that I asked the Gold Sheet to do, and they did it. And the new, again, they keep improving and improving. So if you have not checked out the new and ever improving Gold Sheet, it's just an awesome product now that gives you so much more than just the notes that these guys write. And they have great notes on these games.
Love it. Knowledge is power. That is for sure. Great stuff there by the Gold Sheet. Guys, make sure you check it out. All right. Since you can recognize handwriting here, Tony Mejia. Let's check out who you got for the best bet of the day. Circle it. Tell us who you got.
Well, this is also available on the Gold Sheet because I wrote it up last night, and I'm using it here, and I'm using it with my clients. It is Arkansas as a short underdog against Kentucky. And yeah, like I said, Arkansas didn't play on Saturday. They last played Tuesday, and they had an issue where Texas A&M had contact tracing, so they haven't played in a week. In that time, Kentucky's lost twice. Kentucky lost Wednesday at Missouri, lost over the weekend to Tennessee. So Arkansas has fresher legs as they come into Lexington. And let's stop pretending that Kentucky is going to turn things around magically and reach the NCAA tournament. They would have to win out just to get to 12-12 and reach 500. So this is a Kentucky team that you can write off. They'll probably play spoiler. Calipari will probably reach them late in the season. They're not a team you want to see in the SEC tournament, but at the same time, they're going to be home. They'll probably be out actually on Selection Sunday, knowing that they're not getting in the tournament. They're going to be home for the NCAAs. So this is not a good Kentucky team. They're playing for pride. I think that might help them down the road against Florida, maybe at last game of February. In this particular game, I think Arkansas is more driven, more talented. We got Rob's update on personnel. All those guys are getting in, and being in the lineup really helps. Marcus Moody should have his way at the controls. So give me Arkansas as a short underdog. So give me those points too. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line. I think the Razorbacks win outright.
Well done. All right, love that play. Rob, how about it, my man? Where are you going tonight? What'd you circle for us?
I like the Texas Tech West Virginia game over the number, Joe, just because I don't think that odds makers have caught up totals wise with West Virginia yet. I went through a bunch of the numbers already. 8 of their last 9 have exceeded this total. What I didn't add into that, and I'll say right now, is that West Virginia is a 70.6% free throw shooting team. In that first matchup, they only shot 59% from the line. There were more points to be had for West Virginia if they make 3-4 more free throws. So if they shoot close to their average here today, they probably get that. I don't think that the pace will be slowed down enough to keep this thing under the number. So give me that game over. Also, let me just say this. Where Duke and Notre Dame is concerned, I would probably look second half to see if there's a aberrational score at halftime. I think you play the other way in the second half. A couple things here quick, because we're not on a 1-minute shot clock on this show. That's the NBA tip-off show. But in Tony's Duke analysis, this caught my attention. The very last sentence, he used the word trust. Trust Duke. Don't trust Duke, I think, as he doesn't trust him. 4 weeks ago, Joe, you started this whole thing by asking Ralph in January, do you trust Duke? And he said, ask me in February. I'll trust him by then. I said the same thing. Tony said, ask me in February. It's February now, and I don't think any of us trust Duke yet. So, I mean, there's the answer to the question. Nobody trusts Duke. And Tony having a celebration with his 9-year-old daughter, I'd love to have those days back. 9 years old. Mine are like 27 and 23 right now. So it's been a long time since I celebrated with a 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah, so it feels like it was just a brick. Yep, total brick there, Vino. I got to tell you, we may not have a clock, but we got you chucking bricks up all over the place. All right, so let's go, Ralph Michael.
Cutting off Ralph.
It was a nice sentiment.
Go ahead, Ralph. Talk to us, man.
If Vino's talking about Tony's daughter, happy birthday to Tony's daughter.
Yeah.
Is 9 the last year you get to celebrate?
That's not a brick, Joe.
Once she turns 10, Tony, are they done, or do you get all the way to 11 before they never want to spend time with their dad again? I'm not sure. I only had a son.
My oldest is 12, and she still likes me, so we'll see. Probably.
Right.
Wow, congrats.
Very good.
Guys, this is an actual client release. It is not one of the plays I'm selling. So again, I have 2 plays I'm selling. I have 4 plays up for my clients. The only way to get all of my plays is the All Access package. This is one of my actual releases tonight, and it's a team that I have triple checked moving forward. It's Iowa State. Number 1, TCU is not a good home favorite. They're 1-7 ATS at home. They can't get margin because of their offense. Now you have an Iowa State team that, if you remember and go back to the beginning of the year, this team was picked 8th in the conference, just below Oklahoma and above Oklahoma State. What's been the problem? Why are they winless in the Big Ten? They have been injuries have just torn the team apart. Well, guess what? The Oklahoma game was the first time all year that Prom had all 5 starters playing together. What happened? They almost pulled the upset. They covered the game. Now he has all 5. And if you read the Des Moines papers and those Iowa papers, these players have been fed up for not winning a game all season. I think they are motivated. They are 5-2 already as a conference dog. Without those starters back, I have them this game, and I'm looking forward to using them multiple times moving forward. What Tony said, I'll steal VR's line as well. Sprinkle some on the money line here, plus 230. You're going to get the outright upset tonight.
Oh, I love it. All right. So we got some very confident best bets here coming your way, guys. I am going to bust out the shits and giggles parlay. We haven't seen it, Rob Vino, in a little while here, so we're going to bring it out. And I'm going with 2 teams on the money line tonight. Give me St. John's. The wrong team is favored in that game against Butler. And I'm going to take Michigan State to get the job done as well, taking on Penn State, who is 0-6 on the road against the number this year. So give me Michigan State on the money line. Give me St. John's plus 250 on that money line parlay. And here it is, guys, the best bet recaps. Iowa State, take the points. West Virginia, Texas Tech, go over 141.5. Mejia's going Arkansas. Likes the dog in this one. Thinks the wrong team is favored as well. Michigan State, St. John's money line. And James Madison, lay the 4.5 against Elon, our friends at the Gold Sheet. Guys, make sure you hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow as we get to do it all over again. One more final reminder. It is Customer Appreciation Week at WagerTalk.com. $9 packages all week long. Just our way of saying thank you very much for all the support. Head over to Rob Vino's page. Head over to Tony Mejia's page. Head over to Ralph Michaels' page at WagerTalk.com. Take advantage all week long, guys. $9 packages right now at WagerTalk.com. So on behalf of Tony Mejia, Rob Vino, and Ralph Michaels, we'll be back again tomorrow. Best of luck with your plays, guys. Thanks for making us a part of your day. We'll talk to you then.
Football season is over, and on behalf of everyone at Wager Talk, we want to say thank you for the continued trust you put in our team of handicappers. Our ongoing success relies on the loyalty and support of customers like you. As a way to say thanks, from February 8th through the 14th, we're running a Customer Appreciation Week, and all daily pick packages at WagerTalk.com will be discounted to $9. And yes, of course, that includes any 5% best bets, normally priced at $40. Once again, thank you for your business and trust in the Wager Talk family.